Hey, I'm Natalie Potts, and this is the Natalie Potts podcast. If you want to talk about your business, your life, your health, and more, then you are in the right place. We do it all with humour, love, and inspiration to help you create a life you love. So, let's dive in. Before I introduce today's guest, I'm going to personally invite you to my new challenge starting on the 15th of May. This is called How to Land Your Next Four-Figure Client in 4 Days. And it is like no other challenge you've encountered before. This is about you taking action on what you say you will. I am seeing far too many people joining course after course, all the programs and all the masterminds and not taking action. They are not implementing what they say they will. Yes, it's great to learn loads, but there has to come a point where you stop and actually take action. This is why you need to be on this. I'm all about process. I'm all about how to make it happen. And I'm going to show you how. So in the show notes, you will see the link to join up to the challenge. Please make sure you do that right now. Today, I'm introducing Charlie Day to my podcast. Charlie actually joined me on an Instagram Live, and I'm also sharing here exactly how I do what I do in my business. I'm repurposing this content. I don't need to give more time to creating another podcast when I've got some incredible content that I've created earlier in the week. So Charlie joined me to talk about how you can get leads into your business. She grew her business phenomenally over the last few years, and she will share how. In the first quarter of 2023, she also hit her revenue target of £250,000. £250,000. She's sharing exactly how she does this. And actually what you're going to see, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's basics. But you've got to commit to doing the basics, the brilliant basics, as I say. So you are going to take so much away from this if you take action and implement what we share. Enjoy this episode and let me know your feedback.
Hello everybody. I'm Charlie Day. My business is called Charlie Day Sales, and I basically help business owners to create more sales in their business. I audaciously claim that sales is easy if you just know how, and I'm here to show you how. What I am going to tell you isn't rocket science, but it's very simple steps to
and I think
I
love that part about making sales easy and making it very natural. And I've done a lot of work myself the last 9 months, because my narrative used to be, as a business owner, I don't do sales. No, like that's not me. I get on, have a nice conversation, see where it goes. And it's like, actually that was a little bit of BS in my head that I needed to pull myself on and say, you do sales, go and train, go and learn how to do it, and become better at it like anything else. What's the fear and the resistance around that, and some of the money mindset too?
Yeah, and I think loads of people have that, but ultimately, if you run a business, you are sales. Because without sales, you don't have a business. It is the single most important thing. Like, stop what you are doing right now and let's make some sales. Because without sales, you don't have a business.
One of my first things I do every single morning is I will always get into at least, my target's 20 conversations with new people. And I always say to clients, if you're not getting any conversations every day, how do you expect to have clients? Because every single interaction with anybody in your life has come from, like, made easy, keep it simple, saying hello to somebody and getting in a conversation. But you've got to do that part.
Yeah. When I talk about follow up with every single person, it really freaks people out. They're like, oh, I don't want it, that's so salesy. But I'm like, if I went out for a drink with someone, with a friend, maybe a friend I hadn't seen for a while, I would follow up the next day, said, had a really nice, if I did, had a really nice time, would love to do it again. If my child goes on a play date, I would follow up and say, thank you so much. So if someone inquires about my business, I'm going to make sure that I follow up with them, because, they're there.
Why do you think that's important for people to understand and break down in that way?
Because I think that we live a very busy life in a very busy world, and something that I've inquired about yesterday that was really important to me yesterday, I've forgotten about today. I am like, if somebody inquires about working with me, that might just be one thing that they're thinking about, maybe, who knows. Now, for me, that's a client. So that is of utmost importance. For them working with me, I'm one option. Maybe they could do with some help with their marketing. Maybe they could need business strategy help. Maybe there's a whole range of things that they're thinking about. I am not the number one most important thing in their mind, but they're my number one importance because I'm here to close clients. So if I'm not following up with them, how am I going to bring myself to that important part where they go, oh my gosh, I need to work with this woman. She sounds really great. She sounds like she's going to help me get those results. And that's what following up does. It brings you to the forefront of their mind, even if they decide not to work with you right now, and that's fine. They will remember you because you had more conversations with them, and they may go on to work with you in the future. I actually find if people don't follow up with me, I think they're not that bothered about the sale. So I think,
and I love your style
worries.
is very natural with sales, and I think that's important too, that you can, we talk about training here, but you've got to, and by all means, if anybody's got any questions today, put them in and we'll answer them, but you've got to get out there and make it your own with what you do learn from other people and put your own personality to it. That's been a big game changer for me, and not feeling, everything feels clunky at the start whenever we learn anything, but over a period of time and more practice, getting on like this, and I actually have a couple of buddies for sales, because that has been something that's practical and tangible that I can do that really helps me get better. So then when I actually get on the sales calls, I'm not kind of dancing around and I'm not showing up, I'm not confident, I'm not convicted in, I'm not sold, I have to be sold on my product or my service. If you've got a product or service, you've got to be sold on it from the first point, and how you talk about it has to be with conviction and confidence.
Totally. I always say you've got to stand behind your product or service with unwavering faith. You know that you could change this person's life, even if that's on a small scale. Let's imagine you sold necklaces. It's not a life-changing thing, a necklace, but it could be. It's how you position it. Is this the most irresistible gift? Is this one of a kind? Is this a gift that's going to, really make the person think that you've gone the extra mile for them? What is different about your jewelry? What makes it stand out from the crowd? We need to know those things. And you need to know, not that you would get on a sales course for necklaces, but you would need to know that actually if someone decided not to buy from you, it was them who's missing out, not you. And if we're turning up to sales calls or DMs or whatever it is, if we're turning up with that bit of like, oh God, is this product or service good enough? Oh, I'm not quite sure. That's going to shine
picking up
through.
On leads, and we say about being tangible. What are some of maybe 1 to 3 things that somebody can do today that's going to help them get in conversations and start getting leads?
So leads are all around you. There are people at the moment thinking about buying from you who haven't bought from you yet. And it's up to you to go out there, have those conversations and get them interested in your product or service. And I love that you've said, Natalie, that you try and have conversations every single day. I do that too. I try and have 20 meaningful interactions. I know that every single day that I have 20 meaningful interactions with potential clients, I will hit my sales targets for the month. It's all broken down and it's really manageable because I love chatting to people about business. I love talking to people. So I don't think it's uncomfortable to start a conversation with somebody about their business and about, what I love about it or whatever. But there are leads all around us. So one of my favorite ones is people who watch your Instagram stories. If there are people showing up, watching your Instagram stories every single day, they are leads for sure. If you're not putting stuff on your Instagram stories, why the hell not? Go right now and put something on your Instagram stories and then see who watches it. So yeah, people who watch things like this, if you go live, encouraging people to join in and be part of that conversation, they are hot leads. People who read your emails and respond to them, people, if you've got like a comprehensive email thing that you use like ActiveCampaign or MailerLite or something like that, you can actually get a list of the people who open your emails the most. Now, these are things that I think you should know off the top of your head. You should know who are the top 10 email readers because they are hot leads. People, again, in your Facebook group, you've got a list of the most engaged members. They're hot leads. So leads are actually all around us, but are you opening your eyes and realizing, are you having conversations with these people all the time? Old inquiries, old customers, current customers, they're all leads.
It is that, like you say, easy, it is that simple if you've got the structure in place and then you go and do it.
Yeah, and it's as simple as someone follows you today, go and send them a message, or say, I got a video yesterday, a gorgeous video from this lovely lady. She's got 146,000 followers, and I got a video saying, hi Charlie, thanks for the follow. Incredible. Like, I was like, I want to be you. How can I be more like you? Because, you know, you sit there and think, I couldn't possibly do that. Well, she's doing it. She's bloody successful at it. So, but anyway, you know, a video or a message saying, hi, thanks for the follow, and then start the conversation. You know, for me, that would look like, hey, Natalie, thank you so much for following me. I've had a look at your page and I would love to know more about your business. It looks absolutely incredible. Now, everybody wants to talk about their business, usually, if they're a business owner. And so I sell B2B, so that is an easy conversation to have. But, you know, if you sell necklaces, if you're the necklace seller and somebody follows you, then maybe you can go in with, like, are you looking to buy a gift or something for yourself? Because why have they followed you at that point? Usually when people join your group or they follow you or they sign up to your mailing list, they're interested in buying from you. So have the conversation from that point.
And even us, like, we only met, I think, in January, didn't we? And you just build a relationship and you get in a conversation and it leads to the next thing. And it's what I love about business is when you love it and you're passionate about it, that is the energy stuff that comes across and connects people and gets you in the conversation. So you don't have to make it always thinking about the outcome, just be in the moment with somebody as well and just help them with where they're at. I often say to clients, but you're here, you're not there yet. Like, so you've got to enjoy the process and progress in that too, not always rush for the next thing. And say if you're not aware of something or you don't know, you don't have the answers, just be confident, like we shared earlier, and what you stand for is really important. I guess there's loads of objections that people can throw at us when we're doing sales. What's one of the biggest ones that you're encountering at the moment in terms of an objection or a stall?
Right. I don't have enough money. It's always the biggest objection. I would say the two biggest ones, I don't have enough money and I don't have enough time. What I would say about those objections is they're easy objections, and that's why people use them most commonly. Now, I think the money one is becoming more of a thing because it's an easy thing to say because we know that we're in the cost of living crisis and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I've had the best first 4 months of the year that I have ever had. So it is a myth that people are not spending, because people are very much spending. My last business is a franchised preschool kids class, also have had the best year that so completely different sector, numbers are at all-time high. So as far as I'm aware, within the businesses that I know about, I can't see sales dropping. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I have got what I think is happening is people are letting this information, the media, infiltrate into their mindset, and they are showing up with this energy of people aren't buying. And what then happens is people don't buy. So if you are resonating with this and saying, yeah, people aren't buying at the moment, it's you and your mindset, and that is the reason that people aren't buying. But the reason that people will always blame money and time is because they're very easy things to say. So, for example, if someone had done a challenge of mine and, you know, I'm a bit out there, I'm a certain type of person. I talk about Disney. I've got a little 6-year-old boy. I've come from the children's activities space. This is who I am. I show up with this energy. I'm not for everyone. Oh, that's a leaf from the plant that I'm propping my phone up against. I'm not for everybody, and that is absolutely fine. It's great, actually, because then I find the people who I am right for. But people probably aren't going to turn around to me and say, the reason I'm not buying from you is because you're a little bit annoying. Like, I just don't think I could do that, you know, for 6 months. It'd be a bit much. You know, people wouldn't say that. People feel very confident to say, I'd love to join, but I don't have the money. What that actually tells me is I am not prioritizing this at the moment, because if they genuinely didn't have the money, they would never have got on the sales call. They would never have done the, do you know what I mean? They wouldn't have been interested in the first place, because we know that things cost money. So what I always do with objections is I just face them head on and say, okay, if money wasn't an objection, what would be stopping you? If time wasn't an objection, what would be stopping you? Because so often I find from asking that question, you get underneath to what the real problem is. And always asking questions. If you people are quite guarded usually around this information, so you might have to ask a few questions before you get to the real answer. And you think, you know, well, we do have the money, but if I spent that money on you, my husband would go mental. In fact, I couldn't even tell my husband because he doesn't understand this world. And you're like, right, I get that. I understand that. We can work with that. But money isn't really the objection here. You do have that money. You just don't want to spend it on me. And that's what happens if you're like, oh, okay, fine. Oh, fair enough. Sheila's not got the money, love her. And then you go and see Sheila spending the money on someone else. And you're, Sheila, heck, you didn't have the money, love. What? That happens all the time to my clients. And I'm like, yeah, because you didn't make it.
I think sometimes when you're starting out in your business, it's one of the hardest things to do is, you know, the buzzword be authentic, but be yourself and bring your personality to the table with it. And, you know, I'm massively working on a lot of strategy right now in the business because my background's corporate and I had that aha light bulb moment myself. I was like, I've done 20 years of process, make it happen, let's do it. I'm a very direct communicator, but I get shit done as such and I'll make it happen. And since then, I've done work on coaching. I've been qualified in that. One of the things I love about coaching is that we ask great questions and we have to ask those of ourselves first of all and of others. One of the things I challenge quite a lot is that they say you shouldn't ask why. Don't ask why. It's one of the best questions we can ask. There's a way, like with anything, of doing anything, and how you do it is absolutely the key part. But asking people those tough questions and feeling okay to feel uncomfortable, and also feeling okay to embrace if somebody says no, that's okay. I would rather it's a no or a no for now, or it's a hell yes. I don't in between, and I'm just foggy. I can't deal with in between. And I know sometimes people really struggle with that when they're like, well, I don't want to make a decision. But if you don't make a decision either way, you aren't going to have a different outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually encouraging people to make that decision is the best thing that you can do for them. And the thing about getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable, is it's only uncomfortable the first couple of times you do it. You know, the first time I turned up to a sales call, I was like, oh my God, this is horrendous. Yes, and like, I used to dread them. Now, you know, now if I didn't have a sales call, I would dread it. Like, you know, I love sales calls. They're like my lifeblood. And the busier I get, the less I do of them, and I miss them because it's so easy to convert someone on a call. I mean, so easy. And I love it. And I love getting to know a business and understanding and really having that connection. I absolutely love it. But there was a time when I hated it. And when I used to sell franchises, £10,000, £15,000 franchises, I remember talking to my husband. The sticking point was always the finances, because, you know, a lot of people don't have that sort of cash just lying around, fair enough. And he said, you need to ask them. You need to ask them on call one. My husband's in sales as well. I was like, I couldn't possibly ask them, like, where they're getting the money from, if they got the money. And he was like, just try it, honestly. You know, this is going to change everything. So, you know, I'd say, have you got the money? And they, you know, sometimes they might say, well, yeah, actually, my granny just passed away, so I inherited loads of money. And you're like, that's very different from, no, I haven't got the money. I just thought I'd have a chat with you, and then I'd see if I can finance it from the bank. You know, you're suddenly like so knowledgeable about where we are in this sales process, depending on, oh yeah, we're selling our house, so it's the perfect time to take a chunk of cash out, buy this, and then, you know, you don't know unless you ask the question. So whatever that is, that main objection, I would say handle it. And I remember
I think it was a 5am club I was reading, they say this idea of people that are successful do like the similar things, and success leaves clues, and one of those at the time was like meditation. And it's the same with sales on things, that they're saying it, but it's true, but it does feel clunky at the start, but after a while that changes and everybody feels that. There's nothing different here from you and me. It's just that we've done that part that most people don't want to do.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? You know, and what I would say is try it 10 times. If it still feels icky and uncomfortable, then take it out, and it's not a part of. I think there's a question here. It just popped up on my screen. How to deal with I think that's supposed to do. How do you deal with when you have sent a quote and the client has gone quiet? I offered alternatives, explained the quote, but no response. I don't like to walk away, but don't want to pester too. Yeah. I mean, this is your follow-up piece for sure. The average lead takes 7 follow-ups. So how many times have you followed up with this person would be my first question. And when you follow up with them, try and think how you can make it time bound and compelling. Why should they buy, and why should they buy right now? My guess is that, and obviously I don't know, but I'm just guessing, so tell me if I'm wrong, but my guess is that there isn't a time bound compelling reason to buy, and so this person is just thinking about, yeah, might buy, might not buy, who knows. Whereas if you'd have said there's only 2 spaces this month, I'm fully booked for June or whatever, then she may have, or the person might have come back to you much quicker, either with a yes or a no, because you had made it time bound and compelling. Now, just to put a disclaimer out here right now, I do not believe in lying. That is not what I'm saying here. If you're not fully booked for June, don't say it, because it's going to look very bad when you then are advertising those June spaces. So this time bound and compelling close needs to be based on truth. But there's so much that you can say, even if you're not fully booked, because, you know, we all have a certain amount of spaces. So talk about that. Maybe you're only taking bookings for a certain time. The cart closes. You need to know by a certain date. Whatever it is, put those time-bound, compelling reasons in for people to buy and make them really clear.
A couple of questions. Who have been your biggest mentors, inspirations when you were starting out in your business and getting into sales?
I fell into like a little group. So my first business, I set up my first business when I was 21, and I live in Chelmsford in Essex, and I went to this Chelmsford business network. I was so green, did not have a clue, full of men in suits, and I was like, oh. And I fell into this group, which was completely unsuitable now looking back, but I didn't know any different. And there was this guy who was a sales coach, and he was so old school, but he taught me a lot of good stuff. And that was sort of my first voyage into business, and realizing that, you know, people have a strategy and people know what the hell they're doing. And I was just step ball changing through a village hall and hoping that children would come my way, and they didn't. So I started off, I didn't know that I had a mentor at the time, but I started off with him. And now looking back, a lot of the things, like if I had his mentorship now, I don't think he does it anymore because he was a lot older, but if I had it now, it would be brilliant. But at the time, I just like took notes and I didn't have a clue. And then since I've come into the online space, Lisa Johnson, obviously I'm in Lisa Johnson's mastermind with you, and that's how we have met. So Lisa Johnson has been a massive influence. She's amazing. I had an in-person, 3 very successful in-person children's activities business, and I've pivoted to being an online business. And I really wouldn't have been able to do that without her. But I also like avidly follow a lot of people. I love Sarah Blakely, you know, the Spanx. Yeah, I absolutely love her. And I went to this massive conference in America back in 2019. I did a lot of self-development in 2019, and it really changed everything for me that year. And so I went to this massive business conference, and I saw like Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, loads of just amazing people speak on the stage. And so I followed a lot of business people and been in awe of people like that.
I echo that. I met Marie Forleo back last September, and she was incredible, because I wanted to really break down. I'd come from a strong male dominated environment in business, and I wanted to get a little bit more female part. And this is where the appeal really resonates when we have discussions, because it is very different. And sometimes I see how mentors approach sales, male and female, are very different. And what I'm wanting to find, like I was sharing earlier, is my own personality and my own style, and taking a bit of everybody, like the little bits of golden nuggets, and bringing it all together to make my own and have that sweet spot. And if you can get out there, if you're struggling at the moment, even if, you know, the first part I think is always the mindset, but the next part is then the personal development always staying parallel to you working on strategy all the time, but getting out there doing the right events. And Marie Forleo was one for me as well, where she just owned the room and just had such presence. And these people can, like you, share their mentors change your lives or change your life in incredible ways, but you've got to make the decision to go for it as well, and over, you know, commit to it, because it's not always easy.
Yeah. You've got to actually do the work. Like, I've been in Portugal mapping out the whole of the rest of the year, my strategy for the rest of the year. And yesterday when I was going to sleep, I was like so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be incredible. And then I wake up this morning, I'm like, oh, I have
That
to
resonates.
go home now and do all the stuff. Like
it's all the nice stuff that we want. So finally, a little bit more of a business, personal, because I like a vulnerable question sometimes, but what are you worrying about? And pick something that you're happy to share right now that you won't be worrying about in 20 years' time.
How I can go from multi-6 figures to 7 figures. Yeah, that's taking up a lot of my brain space, because I've never done it before. I've built 3 businesses to multi-6 figures. I've built this business to multi-6 figures in 2 years. Can I build it to 7 figures? I have no knowledge of that. I have no, you know, even at the beginning of the year, I started writing down every day, I'm going to make £1 million, because even writing down like 1 million, so many noughts, in 1 million. Like, there's an incredible amount of noughts. Like, I felt uncomfortable writing it down. I'm never going to be able to turn it over if I can't even write it down. When I plan that on a piece of paper, when I, like, you know, look at the strategy, it's very simple. I made 250,000 in Q1, so I'm on target to make £1 million. But at the moment, I'm not quite there. But in 20 years' time, I won't be worrying about that.
How can people connect with you?
So I run a Facebook group called the Entrepreneurs Growth Club. That's the main place that I hang around. I've also got a podcast called the Entrepreneurs Growth Club Podcast, and I'm Charlie Day Sales.
Amazing. And if you want to connect, I've got my challenge starting on the 15th of May, which is all around how to land your next 4-figure client, because in 4 days. So we're going to map it out in 4 days and actually take action. And I think it's important, you know, there's lots of people doing this thing out there in 5, 10K months, but I really want people to tap in to think about, like, why do you really want that? And I think there's a lot of people looking like they're very successful and doing the right things, and they're really struggling. And I want those people to come on board, because it's about, you've got some expert knowledge right now. We need to just get really clear on that, and then have you taking action on that. And it's one step at a time. It's that part of, you're here, let's work on this to get you to the 100K as everybody wants to do, or whatever your goals are. But it's meet yourself where you're at and doing that slowly, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally. I'm in, like, let's do it. And I think as well, you know, I remember back in 2020, the first month that I monetized this business, and I still had the other business that I was working in, I made £250. And it was incredible, like incredible for me, that out of this Facebook group that I absolutely loved, I could make £250. But then I was like, if I can make £250, I can make £500, I can make £1,000, I can make 2,000. And it very quickly, you know, it's that belief system, isn't it? Of like, if I can do that, I can do that. I'm trying to get my head around now. Like, if I can do that, I can do that. Can I? 2022,
my program for 3 months was about 400 quid, and I was like jumping around. I remember jumping around like, oh my God, I've made my first sale. And then now it's 12K to work me for years, and I'm very like that. I'm very confident to say that, because I know what I can deliver. But it's taken so much of, you know, personal growth, investment and commitment, and like you just said, the biggest thing is you've got to believe in yourself.
I'm excited for all these people who do the challenge, because they're going to have,
that's the aim.
They're going to have a transformation.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a great conversation, and I will speak to you soon. Have a lovely time. When you back? Ace. Amazing.
I'm coming back later today.
Take care, lovely. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. Are you looking to grow your business and tired of not seeing consistent results? Head to the show notes right now and check out my quiz to discover the one thing holding you back from growing your business with ease. Business should really not be complicated. I'll see you on the next episode.